What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about the irreverent love of PC gaming. I see the small smile on James's face. He probably thought I was going to screw that up again.
You did.
What, the irreverent love of gaming? Did I say PC gaming?
Yeah.
Dang it. Well, I mean, we irreverently love PC games, but gaming in general. It's a podcast
I have a reverence towards PC game. I don't know if it's love.
All right. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah. Tonight, I am joined by Sneaky Snake Oil Salesman Joel.
Hey, y'all.
Dave.
It's just me.
And James.
What's up?
Wow, Dave, that's a very P-core thing to say. It's just me.
Well, I'm not selling anything today. I don't have a Sneaky Snake Oil subtitle.
But if people wanted to comment, and subscribe, what does it do, Dave?
Well, I mean, when you put that effort forward, it does really help me out.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we put up a video that Joel kindly, I guess, made for me. We encouraging people to subscribe to the Casual Shenanigans YouTube channel because this is the last week that this podcast will be going up on Dave and I's channels. If you want to see it in the future, you have to go watch it on the Casual Shenanigans YouTube channel. So Joel made us a please subscribe now video. And I mean, I can't describe it. You just have to go watch it yourself. There are already people asking for follow-up, what happened?
I have the email open.
But the other people have been leaving comments it basically, Joel just tells a crazy story that I'm guessing you're making up as you go along. It has that vibe.
What do you think? Do you think I spent a lot of time writing this?
And Joel just sits down and talks for 20 minutes in weird voices. You kind of seem like you're somewhere on the autism scale while you're telling that story. You're acting like there's voices in your head, or you're twitching, and you're being interesting.
To set the record, I was not drinking. I was just, I don't know. It's fun. You guys would probably be way too nervous to even try it, but you just wing it. You just go for it. You just 100% commit, and you do not stop. You don't stop and think about what you're talking about. You just keep going and going and going and going, and whatever comes to mind, you just go that direction. That's it.
I'd do that. I'm fine with that.
I would love to see your version of that. You cannot stop. If you start thinking, you can tell. So Joel, it's just a fun random thing to do.
I couldn't finish that video. I got 2 minutes in. I just noped out. I could not do it. It was just too much.
Oh, but you didn't get to the end about the what happens on the moon, man.
It doesn't get better.
Joel,
it does. It gets.
I didn't get to 3 minutes. I don't know what talking about the ending for.
Oh, come on! That's not. You didn't even try, Dave.
That's right. You still got farther than how far I usually get on your videos, Dave.
Whoa!
Still a higher engagement rate than my subscriber base.
But anyway, Joel hoard out the channel a lot, and it worked. We got 50 subscribers off of it, and then we also got some people saying, one guy said, "Yeah, not only am I not subscribing to that channel, I'm unsubscribing to your channel because you're just a view whore now." And I sent him the link to the video from Willy Wonka, where it's just Willy Wonka going, "No, stop, come back." But yeah, thank you, Joel, for making that video. It was very effective.
I guess you're welcome.
Hey, it worked. I don't care. And then, so you'll always be able to get the audio version through iTunes and everywhere you normally did. And Dave and I are going to put the YouTube videos into playlists on our channels, but they will not be hosted there. They won't show up in your sub box. So if you watch this on Dave or I's channel, Germ Gaming or Evil Viking 13, go subscribe to youtube.com/casualshenanigans. Other housekeeping, Grand Theft Auto Online, 8 p.m. this Saturday, July 25th. Come play with us. Debbie is the administrator of all things Grand Theft Auto related, and she has got a really amazing playlist. And if you're watching the podcast live tonight, feel free to hop into Teamspeak afterwards and help us test it. Debbie would appreciate that. But she's got a really amazing playlist she's putting together. We want all of you to come out, join the Seal Slappers, and come play Grand Theft Auto with us for a few hours. It'll be at 8 p.m., and we will be streaming it to the Casual Shenanigans Twitch channel, and then Dave and I will both host that onto our respective channels. Anyone have anything you wanted to add into that? No? Okay, cool.
I had one thing I wanted to add.
Okay.
Harrison Ford was at the Comic-Con event. Did you guys watch it?
The Comic-Con event?
Yeah, the Comic-Con. He came
Comic-Con?
out.
That Comic-Con.
Yeah, Comic-Con.
Did you Star Wars panel?
Yeah, the Star Wars panel.
Okay, no, I didn't.
You should watch it. It was really, really exciting. And yeah, my Star Wars fanboyism just rose into the sky.
So that
where
relates
the
to
glory
housekeeping notes for the podcast. How?
because it's been on my mind. I had to get it out.
Joel, we have a section of the
Harrison
podcast for
Ford.
your mind.
Joel, that was like a couple weeks ago.
I know, but still.
He's been thinking about it all
Still on my mind. It's still on my mind.
Joel's
I think we actually talked about Comic-Con, didn't we? Did we actually talk about Harrison
Maybe
Ford?
we did. Maybe we did.
All right. So anyway, it's now time to thank people who pledged to us on Patreon. Joel, who do we need to thank this week?
Do we have a voice? Is this a brand new one?
It's a brand new one. He didn't request a voice. James, what's a voice that Joel should do?
Luciano Pavarotti with a lisp.
Joel's thinking about it. He wants to do it. He wants to make you happy. He's not sure though.
Okay.
All right, from the gut.
Don't look at us, Joel. Just focus.
Oh man, I don't know if I can do this. Because the voice in my head says, "Do a snake sound."
What?
What?
A snake sound. That's how Joel does lisps.
It's Mike. Mike pledged. I can't. You're so sneaky, Mike. You're so sneaky. You can put.
So lisp to you is a bad
Is this the room?
It's like Korean. Dang it.
Korean? What? No?
You got to do it.
I can't.
It's operatic. Get it.
Oh, Mike, you pledged. You. I can't do the lisp. Oh, you pledged.
Here comes the Italian Dracula. Here it comes. Incoming Italian Dracula.
Should we just call that one a rousing success and move on?
Who pledged? I haven't even heard the name yet.
Mike.
Oh, Mike, you pledged. You pledged so much.
Yeah, just go back to default.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Oh my. All right. Thanks,
gosh.
Mike. Thank you for supporting us on Patreon.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad. I hope that was worth your money.
Well. All right. Now, before we go into our main topic, this past weekend we had something fun happen. Ultra Grunt, Pierogi, and Singularity 80 all drove in from their respective places. Well, Ultra Grunt had to fly because he lives in England, but he was over in America visiting for a bit, and they all came into town and we hung out together, and it was really, really awesome getting to meet them in person, which is not something I ever thought would probably ever happen until everyone comes to our PAX panel in a couple years. But they all came into town and hung out, and Joel has kindly cut together a little compilation video of some of the stuff that happened that weekend. And this is not going on the audio version, so audio people, you're listening to this, you should go check it out on the YouTube channel because it wouldn't really translate that well to audio. But we are going to play it, so hosts, if you have that video ready, we are going to start it in...
We're gonna play the Nebula, and we're gonna play with new people, so it's gonna be good.
What new people? Who is this?
This is Shane. Shane, he's completely smashed, so the Nebula, it's gonna be worse for him.
Hi.
More only plus two.
Debbie made this lemonade that is like all full vodka.
Uh-huh.
And then I put one more vodka in it.
So it's a normal American drink.
What Shane is trying to say is he's a lightweight.
All right, ready? Ready?
Yeah.
All right, go.
Oh shit. Oh, I hate this.
We had strobes on our back.
Poor Shane was
You hit me in the nuts with the shell.
Got it.
Alright, so what you doing? You loading it up with some electrocuting bullets?
These here is a 50 cal. That's gonna be good for you.
Let me see this. Let me see it. Here, put this, stick this in the ground.
I'm ready.
So what do you think about America?
It's very warm, very sticky. Like, the biggest difference I noticed from England is the traffic's terrible. The roads are pretty not great.
wrong.
They're like patchwork, just concrete here, bit of tarmac there. But pizza's better.
Pizza's better?
Pizza's
So you're like, so now you're gonna move.
Oh yeah, that's the only reason to move now.
This is your first time shooting a lot of guns, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what have you shot so far?
I have shot a 22 at 1911.
Okay.
I've shot a pistol grip shotgun.
How was that?
That was an experience. Flew out my hands. I've fired the Remington.
Yeah, Remington 870 shotgun. You like that one better because you can put it on your shoulder, right?
Yeah, it felt better in my hands. So.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I also fired the 22 rifle.
Now, what's Dave doing out there?
He's setting up a gummy bear to be blown to hell.
James, how do you like the weather?
Hello, Shane.
Hello.
We're gonna put the abomination down. He's ready to receive down there, and we're gonna send him to meet his maker.
Yeah.
There it goes! No, it didn't blow up!
Cold.
How is that even?
What on earth?
Oh my god! This is an SCP project.
We've used that to blow apart stumps before.
Help me! I never asked for this.
Back ye Satan!
Die!
Oh no!
I think cold. Empty the mag and close your legs. One shot, gone. I felt that one.
All right, I'm good to go.
I'm good to go.
I'm good.
Ready in 1, 2, 3.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3.
Nice.
One, two, three.
Nice.
Ready in. 1, 2, 3.
What are we shooting here? Last shot of the day.
we're shooting the grab bag. We got sodas, we got marshmallows, a piece of a log, a bowling pin on top. Oh.
Dang.
Reset!
The marshmallows did pretty well.
Joel, all I have to say is, like, are you a savant at shooting? Like, could you tell us how you can hit things so fast, or do you just do it?
Well, I'm actually the Ant-Man, so I just like shoot, shrink down real quick, throw the bullet at it, get back to the gun. Or sorry,
Okay.
the Flash, not Ant-Man.
Right, I just wasn't good at it. But yeah, like, and you won last year, and then you won again this year, and you don't, like, did you shoot it all in between, or is it just you show up, you win, you go home? You're a really good target shooter, though, in all seriousness.
Nice.
And, you know, speed target shooting, like, is not, you know, people might think Dave talks about guns so much. Why was Dave's time slow? Dave is just a different type of shooter. Like, combat pistol shooting is its own
Like
thing.
he likes aiming for not the target.
Oh, man. Someone's brutal
I'm
tonight.
just kidding.
Joel's getting really good at taking down little midget, like pin-sized midgets. So
You know, so Dave's a different type of shooter. I'm just not, like, my hands aren't super steady and I'm not amazing. And then most of the other people in the video who didn't do great, they just don't target shoot a lot, so you wouldn't expect them to. But Joel
Can we
has
talk
what
about
it takes.
Can we talk about Shane handling the recoil for that 45 before? Because he didn't
Yeah,
shoot
that was a 1911. We were all shooting a variety of weapons, but Shane was shooting a full 45 caliber 1911.
and he didn't shoot it before the competition either. He just he shot the 22.
Yeah, I don't think he shot it.
So
speaking of
he went
speaking
right
of
for the
shooting
full
before the
45.
competition, what did you shoot before the competition?
I shot everything before the competition.
But you actually practiced on 2 different weapons before we started practicing.
I think you psyched yourself out a little bit. Like, I think you maybe, like, overthought it a tad bit which weapon you were going to use, because you're very analytical about stuff. And I think, like, again, you got to do it like Joel. You just walk up and go, "This got bullets. All right."
I don't care. I got to put this over there.
Don't think about the sights.
Talking to Joel afterwards too, I realized that my front sight on the 45 is still painted incorrectly from the crappy job I did with it. Because Joel, you shot my 45 too that day, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Joel was saying yours felt weird in comparison to John's. Like,
yeah,
shooting it.
that's because I only painted 2/3 of the front sight and not the bottom third. So if you line it up with the paint, you're shooting high.
Were you shooting that or your CZ?
I shot that, but I was actually shooting. I was shooting low for a number of the shots that I missed. So the sights didn't help, but that wasn't the issue.
I was tempted to try your CZ for that because I've got a buddy who has a stainless CZ, and that thing is a tack driver. Like, I've shot his more than I've shot yours, and, like, it feels like I can hit absolutely anything with that gun.
Yeah,
But
It's
anyway,
unfortunate we don't have the clip of Shane shooting the little shotgun. Pistol grip.
Did anyone film that?
I think
I
he
didn't
actually
get
is the only one with the footage.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I actually had that clip, but no one asked me for it.
I didn't know you had it. I'd love to see it. We're not going to put it live, though. Joel, go ahead and throw a time code up, because I'm going to cut all this out of the audio version.
Okay.
Shoot, that means I'm going to have to do some fancy math here to get everything else correct. All right. Joel.
Yeah.
Everyone's still watching the live video. We're just going to do this on the fly. Stop the recording and start it again, or stop the timer and start it again.
Like,
And then
pausing
start.
it?
Yeah, stop the timer. Completely
Okay.
stop it. No one stop your recording. Sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah.
Start it again, and then I will just count up from now on the main topic. Like, we'll start from 0 on the main topic, and I'll do the math to add in the Patreon thank yous and announcement stuff to
Okay.
get its time codes right.
So I got cleared. So ready to start again?
Yep, go ahead and start.
Go.
Okay. Tonight, our main topic is something that we touched on a couple weeks ago, and this is something that's near and dear to all of our hearts, but especially near and dear to James. James, being a grumpy old man, does not like it when games disrespect his time or his money. And tonight, we're going to be talking about the sins of poorly launched games. James, talk to us about this for a little bit.
Well, the one that I mentioned last time we talked about it was the on-disc DLC.
Yeah.
And just how much of a slap in the face, slap in the wallet, slap where you want.
Right in the nuts.
Yep, pretty much. But no, I mean, it used to be when games came out, they only had one shot at getting it right. So,
Do you remember? Pepperidge Farm remembers. All right, sorry.
well, yeah, I mean, even as early as or as late as like the PS2.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not doing patches and stuff like that. That's not something, at least in the console world, that wasn't a thing until PS3, Xbox 360.
Yeah.
PC, they could just be broken and be patched later.
Mhm.
I guess that's why there's that precedent there. But, you know, I feel like games in the past were more complete when they were done, or you just learn to live with it because you know that nothing's going to come to fix the game later.
Yeah.
So, but you know, today I feel like it's a thing where companies either just say, you know what, we can release it. We'll get some of the sales in. The diehard fans will like it. There's some issues, but we need to meet our deadline.
Right.
Which is okay, but you know, the games that have delayed for the purposes of fixing their games, been a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. So we were all going to talk about what games, when they launched, what game launches really affected us personally. Like, what crappy game launches really got under our skin? Because it's easy to talk about in general, the problems in the industry and everything. But we're going to give some personal examples of the stuff that did not launch well, that affected the way we played those games at launch and from then on. So, James, you're going to go first.
Okay.
Yeah, well, this is kind of your suggested topic, so I want you to lead it off.
Well, I've got a lot of suggested topics. I haven't have to lead all of them.
Can I actually lead with a quote from Miyamoto?
All right.
I know you guys have heard this one before. This has been thrown around a lot after last year, especially, and it's very relevant.
Yeah, I know which one you're going to say.
He said, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad." Like you can't shake this stigma. You can patch it, you can fix the game technically, but people aren't going to forget about that.
Yeah.
Well, that mostly
until
because
it comes to pre-order time for the sequel, but
well, a lot of people won't forget. Some have already forgotten before the sentence is finished.
I don't think Nintendo knows how to patch their games, so maybe that statement's even more true for them.
all they care is the delayed game. A delayed game is eventually good. Guys, Zelda will be good no matter which system it eventually comes out on. It'll be good.
I feel like they were just setting us up for like the next year. Like, oh yeah, all your games are going to be delayed for the next console. I would say it wasn't even a bad launch. It was just not a good game. Destiny, I think. Like, I remember watching the videos and the promises they made when they were developing it, and it looked really cool. It looked like, you know, Halo with like some RPG elements,
right,
where you get to actually go and hang out with your friends and, you know, do stuff. And
they had everything but the do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the mechanics were fantastic. The graphics, you know, they were decent. Gosh, there was no content.
Yeah. So the game launched, like, it worked at launch.
It worked at launch. I mean, I guess that's what their vision was.
James, that first E3 video, I actually went back and watched it because I remember them saying how you could look out the vista and go explore it.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for that just exploration,
like,
open
it didn't
world.
even have to be massive. It had, you know, it just had to be fairly big, and I think that's what we were all expecting. You know, like I think it launched smoothly. Like, I mean, I had no problems getting into the game, playing. Like, there was no crazy lag.
Yeah,
you know,
it worked fine.
But it definitely was a like, wait, what? Like,
This
it was a
isn't the
very
game I
like,
thought it
wait a
was gonna be.
second, yeah. It was kind of like, it's kind of like seeing a trailer for all the best scenes in the movie, and then when you get there hoping there's gonna be more, but like, oh, that really that's everything. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a trailer for a lot of comedies. Like, they put all the good jokes into the trailer, and then you see it, you're like, well, that's about what I thought it was going to be based on this. Like, that didn't really blow me away.
Yeah, but the difference is they kind of overpromised. like some of the
yeah.
some of the features, and so that would be like watching a trailer with extra jokes in it that were like really funny.
They got
and
cut.
they just weren't in the movie.
Yeah. All right. What was your other game?
And some other one, I guess is stupid hopefulness on my part. H1Z1.
Mm-hmm.
Like it also wasn't a bad launch just because it was an online game. It was obviously expected to have issues, but I remember us spending that first day trying to get signed up for accounts and like
confusion about what type of account. Like, is my PlayStation account, is that the Sony Online Entertainment account, or like what am I signing up for?
That was not good.
It was just a very early access in the sense of like, what the heck am I supposed to do?
I mean, I understand also that they were getting hammered, with people wanting to try out the game.
Yeah, but it's Sony Online Entertainment. Like, it's not some tiny little game going, oh no, we didn't know people were going to play this thing we've been talking about for a year, and we're one of the biggest video game companies there is, and like, we just didn't think people were going to want to actually play this thing. Like, they knew. They just didn't adequately prepare.
Yep.
Yeah. And then once it actually got up and running,
it's fun, but like, we're just all burned out. Like, the DayZ mod, if you think about it objectively, isn't that amazing, but it was groundbreaking, and that's why it was really fun. So after you play that for like a year and a half, and then you play DayZ standalone, and then you try a couple other really crappy zombie games, open world survival games, by the time H1Z1 comes out, like, it's better. I think at launch, it was better than DayZ standalone was at launch, and I think it was better than the DayZ mod was at launch. But you're kind of burned out on it at this point. Like, every Call of Duty is a good game every year. It's solid every single year. The reason I don't play it anymore is because I've done it like 15 times already. Like, I just being as good as the other stuff isn't enough to differentiate a new product. It has to be significantly better. And the things that H1Z1 does significantly better aren't enough to differentiate it, in my opinion. I enjoy it, but like, there's just no real reason to spend a lot of time playing it. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it had a couple broken things when it launched too, but again, that's early access. At least,
yeah,
at least we can forgive that sin for that reason. But I don't know. It's just really generic to me.
So, what would you have done differently? Like, it was a bad launch, so how would you have done it differently to make it good?
The thing is, they delayed the launch like 7 months. Is that? Didn't they say
it was confusing when it actually, like, because they first talked about it and they were heavily implying Dave wasn't like, this will come out in 4 weeks or something.
I thought it was going to be out in like June.
And then, so that, when you announce a game that's coming out in a month, the assumption is the game's kind of done. Like, you don't normally announce something that close to its release date. But yeah, then it just got pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and they didn't talk about it for a while. And then, like, in October or November, they're like, all right, here you go. It was just confusing.
I think that was part of it too, for me too, just not making it seem like, oh, it's coming out. Like, they literally said it's coming out soon. And then in the soon world, I mean, it's not soon.
Yeah, it went from like, it's coming out sometime in May to like maybe this summer, fall-ish, Christmas, and then it was January.
Oh, it was January. I thought it was.
No,
it was
January.
It was January.
It was January.
Yeah.
It was what was it? The week before GTA.
No one
was supposed to
remembers.
launch.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was going to be lined up. We were all terrified. And then
that was stupid.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. What was your selection?
One I chose was actually Watch Dogs, because at its core, I don't think Watch Dogs was a bad game. In a lot of ways, it was just a very pedestrian kind of average game, but it definitely had a really, really rough launch, lots of technical issues. And on top of that, you had the original downgrade fiasco, where they didn't post any media from the game for a long time until I think it was about a month before launch. There was like a pre-launch trailer that just looked very, very different, and so that came as a shock right out the door here. So there wasn't any gradual curve to kind of ease off on people's expectations. It was just the original showcasing videos, some developer diary stuff, and then right before launch, hey guys, here's the actual game. It doesn't look bad, it's just not what we originally showed you. And there was just no
that
discussion.
E3 footage was gorgeous when they first.
And
Not like gorgeous, but for the time,
it was good looking. It was really
yeah.
good looking. They shot themselves in the foot though, because not like it's one thing that the game doesn't look quite like it did when you originally showed it off when you release it. That's pretty normal. That happens with a lot of things. Like some games look better, some games look worse, some games aspects of them look better and aspects look worse. With Watch Dogs, they messed up by they left graphics options in the game files, that had the E3 name in them. Like people could just open up the game files and turn those settings back on. It wasn't we just those settings aren't even there anymore. We just couldn't do it. It was like, nope, they're still there. You just literally turned them off. And turning them back on, since the game wasn't officially ready to support them, there were some issues. It wasn't like you just flick a switch, but they did leave a lot of that nicer stuff in there. And people were upset that why didn't you give us a choice?
Yeah.
Why did you let us decide if we could have a better experience or not?
And that was the problem too, is that there were sacrifices made, but there was no better experience. It was, here's a lot of sacrifices and cutbacks and downgrades, followed by here's 30 FPS if you're lucky with stutter on all platforms originally, and then for some people the PC stuttering never really went away, and underneath was what was, in my opinion, a really fun open world game.
Yeah.
That may just be because there was no GTA 5 last year, but I really liked the
there was, just not on the PC.
That's what I mean though. For me, there was no other option. I'm sure that was a little bit of it for me. There was just no open world option for last year. But on the other hand, I did really like the concept of the Batman with guns. You're just a vigilante, but you have guns. I like the concept, and it's a shame that once it had that reputation, if you mentioned Watch Dogs, it's oh yeah, I enjoyed Watch Dogs, people are going to give you weird looks and be like, why? I heard that game was terrible or whatever. You can't shake that reputation.
Yeah. It's going to go down as a poorly launched launch title for both of those consoles.
Yeah. It sold really well. I am very excited for the second one because I love the game. Just as a game, I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not even sure why. The driving was so bad.
Joel, there's two of us.
The driving was really bad, but
the driving was horrible.
I eventually got good at the bad driving, but it was just I think I love the shooting mechanics and the cover. It was his movement controls were very well done. And I just liked the idea of the hacking, and I think I liked the music and stuff, but
music was pretty good.
I loved how every car, you wouldn't ever get hit by anything. They would always be slow down before you get hit.
It's funny that you got used to the driving being bad. I've had tires that needed to be replaced, and I just got used to, any little things like a little shake and it being really tight when I try to turn. That when I put new tires on, I'm like, ooh, this doesn't feel right. What's wrong with my car? Oh, wait, it's driving like it's supposed to.
Yeah. So, Dave, what would you have done differently? Because we're not just complaining. This is, in our opinions, what things did games do wrong and what could they have done better? Now, we're not developers, so we're not saying we guarantee you the studio could have done exactly our solution and it would have worked. We're just saying, as consumers, how would we have preferred they handle the situation?
Yeah. I'll talk in broad strokes, just because, like you said, we're not developers. We can't speak to the exact issues, but talking about the downgrade issue specifically, I think doing what CD Red did with The Witcher 3 would have been a good idea, which is where they actually came out and talked about it, even during the launch week. Whereas Ubisoft was like, we're not touching the whole downgrade thing with a 10-foot pole, just quiet, don't talk about it, doesn't exist. The devs of The Witcher 3 came out and said, hey, yeah, we had to change some things because that was a very small slice of the game, and as it grew in scope, we had to turn back certain parts of the engine, and the engine itself changed a lot. And what they said at the end was, we're much happier with the experience in the overall game that we have now than what we had then, because obviously what we had then was almost nothing. It was very tiny. And they're like, people can disagree with that, and we can see how you might feel like there was a downgrade, but they were just like, we're very happy with what we have here. But like I said, Ubisoft just didn't want to talk about it and did not talk about it until their recent announcement of their change of policy for showing pre-release footage that is related. And then also, Witcher 3 had pretty consistent trailer releases, so that the downgrade controversy for The Witcher started, 10, 12 months? It was last fall, because they were constantly showing, here's the newest build of the game, and people were going, oh, there's differences here. Whereas, once again, with Watch Dogs, it was kind of a surprise right before launch. And then the technical issues, the PC version I don't think was ready at launch day. Drivers weren't ready for it, and that's the kind of thing that, like we've seen with Batman, sometimes the game is just not ready.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll go next. My first one is...
I actually had a question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have... if developers started releasing more timely content, do you think that would help, or do you think they would have the same crappy... Like, you mentioned that they went a long time without releasing footage
Yeah.
of anything. Had they done the incremental thing, do you think it would have been any different? Or do you think people would have been just as pissed off at the E3 trailer being,
I
a
think
little bit higher quality?
if they released more incremental footage and talked about why there were being changes made, like, hey, we've removed this to make room for this new feature, I think that would have helped. And I think the reason the incremental footage is necessary, it's because the initial footage was so far away from release date and looked so good that there was just a huge gap there. And when you set yourself up like that, that's where the danger is.
Well, the thing is, I mean, how do you successfully, pitch a new IP without, showing something really far in advance while you're still in the development stage? Like, it's okay for like a company like Bethesda to do Fallout 4 when it's actually almost done, and they can show you pretty much done. But a game like Watch Dogs, they have to build interest, they have to build hype. And so does that shoot them? Does that shoot pretty much anybody in the foot with a new IP that just they have to give that footage out so early?
You know how a lot of times the footage has like the rendered in engine label on it. Maybe it's time for these early E3 demos to have a label where it's like in engine target footage or like conceptual target rendered in engine.
They should probably just say pre-rendered, pre-alpha, cool idea. Not at all the real game footage. Like some way of conveying
what we're
this
shooting
is not
for
what the
footage.
game looks like. Yeah.
Well, see, the problem though is that I think saying that it's rendered in engine is important to say like, hey, this is the project as it is right now. Like this is actually we're working on this. This is what we're working on right now. But there needs to be something else that says it's going to change.
I don't know. I mean, the whole in-engine thing, though. I mean, number one, people just stop trusting it, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's just like, oh, okay, in-engine, what do you do?
The latest one for that is, did you see the latest screenshots from Need for Speed? The relaunch coming out this fall?
Yeah.
There's a shot of a car sitting next to the real car in real life. I honestly, the first time I saw it, I thought they were both real pictures.
Yeah.
And it's a low resolution photo, but still, like, it looks that good. And people got so excited. And then, of course, thankfully, by now, there's people in the comment sections going, guys, just calm the heck down. Like, it is not going to look like that. Think of the best looking game you can think of on, like, a PlayStation 4. It'll probably look about as good as that. Like, it's not going to look like real life, guys. They have to actually make the thing.
Here's the thing. When they do those renders for, like, E3, those early trailers and stuff, I mean, they're really just showing a small fleshed out portion of what's going on. Like,
yeah, I mean, they've like, sometimes they've barely started working on the game. Like, that could just be proof of concept stuff.
I mean, if you imagine, like, if they took GTA, but they didn't build all the world around it, they just focus on this one scene, how much better it could look. I mean, it already looks gorgeous as a game, but, like, it's not running all the background simulation. It's not preparing for an online server. You know, I don't know. That's the bad thing about something like Watch Dogs.
You can look at like the artist demos for Unreal Engine 4, like that one of the Brazilian kitchen. Like the engines can look insane when you're simulating a 10 by 12 space with a simple background and all your focus is on ridiculous textures and lighting. Yeah.
That's why the PT demo looks so good.
I wonder what that actual game would have been like. Yeah, now that you mentioned that.
That's really sad that it's not going.
Yeah. All right, my first one is Drive Club. The type of launch I dislike for this is where they know there's an issue and they wait until last minute because they don't want to affect sales. Like when developers don't send out review code ahead of time. That's a red flag. Or like 2 days before launches, they go, oh, this functionality is going to be disabled a little bit. Or like they say, oh, we got to add something in a little bit later, like part of this stuff, we're gonna do a patch, we'll fix this later, no big deal, it just won't be there at launch.
Right.
You know, like that's I really dislike that. But with Drive Club, what pisses me off is, one, I was excited about it. I love racing games, and there's no Gran Turismo game on the PlayStation 4 yet. There's going to be 3 major Forza releases before there's one Gran Turismo game.
What's up with that?
No one knows. They didn't talk about it at E3, which blows my mind. Like, what else is Polyphony working on? That's literally their game is Gran Turismo. Like, Sony owns them. What's happening? But
I mean, is it Forza that's messing them up? Is it?
No, Forza's their Gran Turismo was
Exactly.
the king, and Forza came along. Like, they should be looking at Forza and going, crack the whip harder. Like, row harder, slaves. Like, we got to get this thing done.
But all the more reason, though, to like try to get a better product out, because
Yeah.
you know, Gran Turismo was the king when it came out. It didn't really have that much competition for
and I wouldn't say it's
really
it's
good
even,
arcade.
It's
or
not really
arcade,
on
but
top
simulator.
anymore.
No, it really
it's the last
definitely
one, yeah.
isn't. It definitely isn't. I mean, for the PlayStation crowd, it absolutely is. If you only have one platform, that's the If you're on the Xbox, obviously you play Forza. If you're only on PlayStation, obviously you play Gran Turismo. If I have both, well, obviously I'm playing Forza because there's no Gran Turismo to play right now. But Drive Club was supposed to be, if you have PlayStation Plus, since when they announced the PlayStation, to soften the blow of requiring everyone to get PlayStation Plus to play online, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to do if you have a console. To soften the blow, they were talking about all the amazing benefits you get, and one of them would be this major new racing title everyone will get if you're a PlayStation Plus member for free, and you can play it together with all your friends, blah, blah, blah. And then as development goes along, they switch it to, all right, there's a special PlayStation Plus version that's kind of like a really big demo. It has a couple cars, one area, a few tracks. I mean, a decent number of cars, but one area, a few tracks. You know, it's like 5-6 hours of content. It's like the Gran Turismo prologue. It's a pretty decent chunk. It's still not the full game. And then launch day, 1 hour before the PlayStation Store updated, they said, "Oh, by the way, the PlayStation Plus version isn't quite ready. We got to do a little bit of work to it to release it." Like 7 months later, they released it to no fanfare. I don't know how well it's doing. I've downloaded it. I haven't even played it. I went from being incredibly excited about it. And Joel, goes back to something you were talking about last week. If I'm excited to play a game in that release window and I can't, by the time that game actually comes out, I have moved on. I have other stuff to play, like Project Cars came out. I got Forza Horizon 2, and Grand Theft Auto 5's racing is actually decently fun. I have no interest in playing an arcadey racer with no upgrades or tuning options. Like, that's just, there's no slot there for me. Like, that doesn't work for me. Joel, I see you smiling. I heard what I said. Let it go. All right. My second one is Assassin's Creed 2.
Actually, I had a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Let me think of my question. Go ahead and go ahead and go to your next one. I'll think of
Okay.
Watch that one.
Just interrupt me when you've got your question
Okay.
ready. Assassin's Creed 2. So I bought the first Assassin's Creed. It was actually one of the last games I ever pre-ordered. And I got it, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. I was one of the few people I know who actually finished the game. The game gets way better in like the last hour and a half, but most people never make it that far. So for Assassin's Creed 2, I was really excited. But Assassin's Creed 2 was when Ubisoft debuted their always online DRM, which means you had to have a continuous internet connection because the game was going to check in every couple of minutes. And they said, don't worry. If you lose your internet connection, we'll pause the game until you get it back. Not a problem. Or then they changed that to, okay. If you lose your internet connection, we'll let you play for like a couple minutes without cutting you off. But you were going to have an internet connection. The first people to bring up an issue to that were like soldiers stationed overseas who are like, wait a second. Like, I don't have high-speed internet access all the time. Like, a lot of people download a bunch of games. Soldiers were downloading their games. This is thousands of people. Like, it's not an insignificant number of people downloading their games and then taking them overseas and playing. Well, not anymore, because you had to be always connected. And then they said, okay, but yeah, it's going to work, whatever. Okay, so I bought the game. And actually, it's a long context story that's not relevant, but Chris and I, my roommate in college, had a shaky internet connection for a little while because of some aftermarket hardware we were running in our dorm room. And our internet connection was not 100% reliable all the time. And Assassin's Creed 2 actually kept goofing up for me. And I lost progress because it wasn't like saving the game properly. And after I lost an hours worth of progress twice because of random internet drops, I'm not ashamed to say I pirated the game. I already gave them my money. I tried to play it their way. The game didn't work. They treated their paying customers like criminals. Guess what? The pirated copy, I didn't seed it. I just downloaded it, 0 seeding, booted it up. It worked immediately. No issues. It even loaded into the game faster because you didn't have to wait for the stupid authentication server. Like, it was the best experience. In 2012, I looked it up today. In 2012, they actually patched out the online functionality, which at that point, they're already like 5 games past it. No one cares. But like, that was an amazing game that sucks.
And I think Microsoft did a great job by trying to implement always on. When they,
for the Xbox One.
Yeah. Which everybody loved then too.
They had some cool features that they needed the always online to work for, and they backtracked on some of those features. So we'll never get to know if those features would have actually been that cool, but it would have blown up in their faces for the same reason. Like, our internet infrastructure, this is too big of a country and too big of a world. It's not like eventually you can make some stuff that requires good internet, and like, Netflix, you can't blame Netflix because it doesn't work on dial-up, like they're selling a product, you can play it or you can't. But when you're cutting off like 25-30% of your market base that don't have amazing internet access with your new console, that's significant. And it's not that you can't do it, it's that it's really going to hurt your bottom line if you do it, and that's why they backtracked, which is the smart business decision. James, do you have your question?
Not really. I can remember. I was going to ask you what you would have done differently about Drive Club, and I was going to make a comment.
Okay.
That I wonder. Let me go ahead and make a comment first.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people, since they've released the PS Plus version, have actually downloaded it versus those who actually have spent any amount of time playing it. Like I've loaded it and played it for a few minutes, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be very curious. It was definitely feels like a launch title for a system, but coming out like a year and a half after the system launched, like, you've missed that window at that point. So it's not really relevant anymore. What I would have done differently with Drive Club, they knew it was not going to be ready on time. It's not like someone, like, on launch day, they're having the big launch party and someone goes, "Oh guys, crap, I totally forgot to send off the PlayStation Plus version to CERT. My bad." Like, no. They knew before then it wasn't coming out. What they should have done is either Sony should have eaten the money from the very beginning when they decided it was going to be free for everybody. They shouldn't have backtracked on that. I applaud them for delaying it, because if it had come out during the launch window, like, of the system, it probably would have really sucked.
Yeah.
But Sony should have just eaten the money on that and actually given people what they promised them when they were trying to sell them the console. That's borderline false advertising. But then for the PlayStation Plus version, as soon as they knew, they should have said something. As soon as they knew. And I don't blame them for releasing the rest of, like, the full retail game then, because they got to get a paycheck. Especially because that studio had horrible luck with their last game. Was a what was that off-road series? It was that PlayStation exclusive off-road racing series, and they made a version that was all about natural disasters.
I know what you're talking about.
Right before Motorstorm, right before a major tsunami, it was scheduled to release, and they had to push back the release of the game because it seemed kind of insensitive. So like, they had really bad luck with their last game. They can't, like, that's nobody's fault. So with this game, I understand they got to get paid at some point. They got to release the thing. It's already a year late. But the PlayStation Plus version, Sony should have eaten whatever money it took, and they should have announced it as soon as they knew. People would have been mad, and then by launch, probably more people would have bought it. But there are plenty of people like me who, I was going to play the PlayStation Plus version. If it was good, I was going to go buy it. But I ended up Redbox renting it, played it for like 2 hours, and then I was just so disgusted. Even if the racing was decent, I was just pissed off at the game, and I didn't want to play it anymore. So they should have just been honest and communicated with their customers better. And then my last one's Battlefield 3. I was very excited for the triumphant return of Battlefield. I mean, Bad Company 2 was amazing. But the triumphant return of jets and large scale maps and everything. And then, do you remember what that was like on launch day, Dave?
I seem to remember fire and screaming and gnashing of teeth.
That was just in Dave's house.
It just didn't work. Like, you just couldn't connect. You just got dropped from stuff. Like, the lag, the stuttering, like, everything that could possibly go wrong on launch day went wrong. And what I would do differently is I would have, like, I know it's a lot of money, but if you want to have a good launch, get as many authentication servers and game servers, get like 3 times as many as you need, eat the cost for the first couple days until the initial server pop thing drops off, and then, give like, if you're renting the servers, return them. I know it's probably more complicated than that. But Call of Duty makes it happen every year. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's not like it can't be done because there's no way Battlefield has more players than Call of Duty on a given year. Call of Duty makes it work. Battlefield should be able to do something similar to that. But BF3 was an amazing game with an absolutely horrible launch. What I would have done differently is just spend the money to get the good launch. As much as it takes. Like, if it's an extra $5 million, fine, but make sure your customers can play it on day one. If you're going to make day one seem like this super exciting thing that people need to pre-order so they're ready for and get their perks and everything else, give them a functional game on day one.
Get it while it works.
And then Joel, what do you got for us?
Joel time.
Man, that was actually a long segment. Daisy standalone. Yeah, I know it's alpha, but it's still a release. It's sad because it did really kind of ruin the series for me. Like, it really just kind of put an end to like something I really enjoyed, and I'm just kind of past it now. So I'm never gonna probably go back to a game. So that's kind of sad. I really wish they just stick to their guns and just held on to the game for a lot longer and decided not to release it. So because fans are being whiny and they wanted it, you know. I mean, because I think in a way it's like. You know, I mean, you can blame the fans going, oh, well, you're just supposed to wait. But it's like, I don't know, go up to a kid and be like, here, you can have you have your piece of cake. Oh, but, you know, I don't know, but just like making them go, no, I'm not going to eat cake right now. I want to wait till later so I don't ruin my meal. Well, you know what I mean? It's like, people are going to want to try it. You know?
They said if you're worried about it, don't play it at launch. No, everybody's excited for DayZ is going to play it as soon as it's available.
It would be like, like they released Star Wars Now, like a unfinished cut. Like,
you would totally go see it, wouldn't you?
I would. Gosh, it'd be so hard to not want to go see it. Yeah,
Joel's chair would just be spinning. That's how fast.
Yeah,
he'd
like,
run out of the room.
that would be the hardest thing in the world. Be like, oh gosh, I don't want to see it.
That wouldn't
but
be the
I want
hardest
to see
thing in the world, Joel. With that lightsaber noise.
I'm not sitting next to Joel in the theater.
It's glowing, guys. It's glowing.
All right.
Time to change your diet.
But yeah,
if they had what would you have done to change that though? Just
wait. Wait, they're freaking
and
asses.
shut up about the game. Stop saying maybe in a month, maybe soon, maybe not.
Just shut up. Who cares? Like, let people whine. Doesn't matter. Like, what are they gonna like? Oh, I guess I won't play the game when it comes. No, you're gonna try.
I mean, H1Z1 demonstrated there were plenty of people still excited for open world zombie games when H1Z1 came out over a year later.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the biggest thing that really hurts people now is early access games because you get so much feedback from everyone. It's too much. I know absolutely. I would hate that for my film. Constantly, like everyone and their mother going, well, we should have this. Well, I think it needs to be like this. Well, I think it needs to be like this. I'm like, I don't care what you want. Like, I'm making what I want to make. You know what I mean? Like, there's one thing of taking advice from a certain amount of people, but you can't please everyone. So it's like, just make your own freaking game, make it good, and just delay it.
The only tough gamble about that though is that influx of cash allowed them to hire a lot of people working the game. I mean, it hasn't.
They would have been just fine without that. They would have been just fine with that. They had tons of money still.
Yeah, not tons of money. They had more money than they did before. They were doing
the original mod works still better, has way more features, everything in it right now. They would have been just fine. And I think it would have actually been better for them.
They crowdsourced the mod development at that point, and so they had a bunch of people doing it for free because they loved it.
I know, but I'm saying I think more money. They turned it into a Peter Jackson thing where it's like, let's add tons of stuff and frilly things, and they're not even close to getting back to where the mod is.
I disagree with the they would have been fine thing. I think they definitely could have waited longer and they would have had enough money to make it work. But Bohemia has never been rolling in money. With Arma 3 and with DayZ, they've got two bigger hits than they've ever had before.
But I'm not saying wait a whole year and a half. I'm saying
an extra 6 months probably would help.
Another 6 months. That way at least it's working, because what's frustrating is they give you a game, you're like, yeah, I can play it. Next week, I can't play it for another month because it's literally
inventory's
doesn't work
broken.
At all. I'm like,
inventory's back. Hotbar's broken.
Why are you pushing out these updates that literally break your game? Like, just keep it as a separate thing.
That's the problem, is because it's not an update. Sense. They're adding new chunks to the game, and during game development, when you add a new chunk, it breaks other stuff.
It should be like every 4 to 6 months an update, not like every month some new patch that destroys the game.
That's how Prison Architect does it. I think they only patch like every 4 months, so it's like a big patch, and it breaks less things. Still in the patch notes, they'll say like, "Hey, don't use these things in this patch," but they're still overall probably less broken.
Hey Dave, what were the like before DayZ sales of like Arma, and then after DayZ?
Arma 2's lifetime sales were like 400,000 since 2009. And then when DayZ launched, DayZ at its height had like 6 million players or something. And all those people had to buy Arma 2. So I think the 6 million number might be a little bit off. I think it was at least 4 million. It was at least 4 million.
I didn't know if it was 6. But
that's a lot. Like I mean, that's a good amount. They would have been fine for easily another year, just fine. You know what I mean?
With the small team, yes.
Yeah, with the small team, and I think it would have been better because I think they would have had smaller. Like, let's just keep the game small, make it good. But now they're like, let's make it big, and they're never going to get there.
I think scope creep. Like, I think they like the scope of the project creeped a little bit too much when they got that influx of cash and hired all those people and everything. Like, I think if they had just kept it what they originally wanted to do, I would have been totally fine if they kept it. The original plan was rebuilding the mod in that engine and everything. I would have been totally fine with that. Now, there's probably reasons why that wouldn't have worked that well, but like just polishing up and releasing the mod as a really well working version, like other people have done with the mod since then, that would have been fine. I applaud them for wanting to make it big and grand and everything else, but like Joel said, it's very hard to be confident that they're actually going to hit that mark now. Like, maybe someday, but like, yeah, a delayed game is good someday, but it needs to be a someday when people still want to play it. Like, I'm a little bit played out on DayZ standalone. Like, it's got to get way better for me to want to come back. Like,
and the biggest thing that probably won't bring me back though is it's kind of the same map I've played for almost 2 years. Yeah. So I'm not really that excited to go explore in the same place I've played in for years, you know? Like, to me, like the first 6 months was amazing because you didn't know the map, you didn't know where things were.
But we know it now.
And the loot could be anywhere. But now, yeah, it's pretty much playing science. It's well, Joel, you don't go over there because there's no loot there. So it's like, well, but I wanted to explore that place, but there's nothing there, so why go there?
Yeah.
So
yeah, for me as someone who's, as a consumer, like, I'm excited when they put in like new features and new, whatever, like new car building mechanics and stuff. But it's so frustrating when I hop in and like, they still haven't fixed this yet. Like, the things that make it unplayable and make it seem.
Well, the thing is, they have fixed some of them, and then they break again when they add in new chunks. Like, I understand how game development works, and why when you put in major new sections, stuff breaks. I totally understand that. I think the point we're making, especially Joel's trying to make, is they should have just waited till more of that was taken care of.
Yeah, like wait until that's fixed on their end. Like,
they've got to break some stuff during like production. You have to break some stuff. That's just how it is.
Now, if they had waited till the render engine and all that stuff, all the different engines that were going to be building it underneath, would that have been a better time to do an alpha?
Maybe we don't know what that version's going to be like.
Here's the catch-22 though, is that none of those module replacements would have happened without the sales of the early access version. None of that was planned until early 2014. It was not on the roadmap for the project at all.
As we know, a lot of things weren't planned until they got farther into the project. That's kind of the problem. Is they kind of added
I just think they shouldn't have started on DayZ 2 when they hadn't even finished DayZ 1 yet. Like, that's how I feel.
Agree.
Like, I think they should have just polished up the mod they had, because it was already working really well at the end. Fix some stuff and let it ride for another 6 to 8 months while they're already working on the second version. Like, they're
they shouldn't have gone the Project Cars route.
Yeah.
I think the key would have been not abandoning the mod so quickly. Maybe actually hiring the community members that were maintaining the mod in
that would have been great.
Late 2012, early 2013.
Add some more official servers and stuff. Like, keep the mod going. That way everyone's excited and enjoying it and no big deal. And people would still be excited about standalone, but it wouldn't feel like, well, mod is broken now, mod's dead, move off. Like, people would have felt like they could stick around for longer. I would have.
Here's where I am on the scope, though, here in 2015. in 2012, 2013, I would have agreed with you guys that I just want the polished version of the mod. But now that I've kind of stepped back from the game and I'm just waiting for development to continue, I'm glad that it's not the mod repackaged. I'm excited to see what DayZ will eventually be, because it's not going to be the mod repackaged. I've already played 700 hours of the mod. I really don't need a repackaged version of that. I want to see like the grand idea become a thing, and no one knows if it's going to get there yet, but I'm excited to wait and see if that's going to be a thing, at least here in 2015. That wasn't the case in 2013.
Yeah. All right, Joel, what was you had 2 other games?
Yeah, just last 2 things. Battlefield 4, when it launched, it was crummy.
Do we even need to talk about
Yeah.
everything that went wrong with
Yeah,
that?
I mean,
The
we
game
did
wasn't done.
Battlefield
It's a textbook
3.
example.
Yeah,
The game
and then
wasn't
Far Cry
finished.
4 on
Yeah.
the PC I had just didn't run well, and like I know there was the 4 gigabyte thing, but I went back and still tried on just 1080p, and it didn't work on 1080p either. So it really was a PC stuttering issue, and it was so bad that it like just pissed me off that I was like, F it, I'm just gonna play on PS4 because you watch on Eurogamer and it worked really well and it was smooth. I was like, F this.
Well, the thing that
Yep,
kind of
I
pisses
agree.
me off is that there's no reason to have a bad launch of Battlefield 4 after a bad launch of Battlefield 3. I mean, do they just not learn from their...
It
They
was
learned,
so
and they were like,
rushed.
what if we doubled everything? Double the maps, double the premium, double the guns, double the time before the game is playable. Actually, that was like 10x before the 10x the time.
double the gun attachments? No, triple.
Deeper.
I mean, I guess that's the one thing I do appreciate Nintendo on is they might suck as a hardware company, but they do really focus on the experience. So their
Yeah.
games don't have to be freaking huge, but as long as their people are having fun, I think that would be
You
a
have fun.
good
You just
route.
won't have fun quite as often.
Well, I mean, if it's broken, then you're not going to ever have fun.
Yeah.
Battlefield 4.
All right, now really quickly before we move on, everyone, we're going to go in the order we talked about. Say one game that you think launched really well, like super quick. James, what
I would
game
say
launched really well?
GTA on the PC because of
GTA
their
5?
delays. Yep.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Journey on PS4 multiplayer. was
PC.
fine.
I guess
Oh, you said PC? My bad.
that's okay. No. Go ahead. PS4.
Okay. Yeah, Journey.
What would have been bad about the game launching?
Well, it has online functions. I mean, if that game had bad online functions, honestly, it would ruin the game. It really would.
Yeah, because the
I'm
experience
serious.
would
Like,
be, the
seeing
experience would be
someone
ruined
glitch
if you,
around,
Yeah,
yeah, it
that
would
would
be
have ruined
like,
the experience. That would have been terrible.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Dave.
I'll say City Skylines. Not only did it work well on day one, but it had mod tools built into the game on day one and mod support on day one. That was amazing.
And it's easy to talk about stuff that's recent, like you remember that better. I'll say The Witcher 3. Because on day one, it worked. There were a couple little issues, but the game itself ran smoothly and well. My backup choice would have been Grand Theft Auto 5 because it ran better at launch than it does right now. Although the patch they put out last week has fixed a lot of the little issues that were popping up. But anyway,
Let's not forget too, Jeremiah, that with The Witcher 3, you also had not only a good launch, but a constant IV drip of like little DLC updates ever since to
which
keep you.
it's pretty obvious they had
interested.
most of those like already ready to go. It seems like
We don't forget that, Dave, because you remind us every week about how amazing CD Projekt Red is.
All right, it's
Am I
time for
wrong?
it's time for the news.
News time! I just got super excited. I saw something.
My goodness!
Oh, Joel, do you see my news item? Can I go first?
Yes, I did.
all right, go ahead, Dave.
I can't believe you hadn't seen this, Joel. Bethesda.
I know.
Let me just read you the Joel. Call me.
Let me in. I was born in 1948. Yes, go.
All right.
I'll just read the PC Gamer title. Bethesda drops a bomb with a new Fallout anthology. They're releasing all of the previous Fallout games, and it comes like a little mini atomic bomb, which looks awesome. And the game disc packaging, Joel,
Wait,
what
so
do you say?
what all does it include? What does it include?
It's Fallout 1, 2, Tactics, Fallout 3 Game of the Year, Fallout New Vegas Game of the Year. Comes in a collectible
platforms?
It doesn't
atomic
include
bomb.
Brotherhood of Steel, or what's it called? What's that game called?
I'm not sure yet.
Tactics. Anyway, go ahead.
That one appears to be missing. I think it says PC here on this image.
Anyway,
And-
it comes in a bomb.
And also, I'm looking here at the game discs. The disc looks like, reminds me of like record artwork. It's kind of cool looking.
Cool. And when's that coming out?
Apparently, they announced it, and kind of like in Apple style, they're like, check your retailers this week.
But it's not coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
No.
It just says PC on the.
It'd be good for them to put that out to get more people to buy them on the new consoles. Like I would not be surprised if that happens. Like I wouldn't count that out yet.
I would be surprised.
Please say it so.
Please, I want to be surprised.
If I could, I would for you, James. But Joel, what do you have? What you got for us?
Yeah, help me out with this. iOS sales matching apparently Windows PC unit sales. There was a link I saw the other day.
Desktop
Windows
sales.
desktop sales, yes. And so I saw that, and what it sounded like to me, and so I brought this up because I kind of wanted to understand it. It sounded like it was saying that iPhone sales, or just iOS general, like iPods, all sorts of iOS stuff, are now getting close or are now matching sales of, like, I'm guessing Windows laptops or Windows desktop PCs, like from Best Buy or from all over.
This is a little bit of a clickbaity title because when you first look at it, your first thought is, oh, Apple computers are outselling Windows computers, and that's not it at all. Like, Apple,
it's just iOS devices.
Right. So the really, I'll get to the news. The news, there is a newsworthy portion to this, but they kind of clickbaited a little bit because, like, just for the record, and I'm not picking on Apple here, OS X will never catch up with Windows because they're two different products for two different audiences, and Windows is the much bigger audience. That's just how it is. It's a different product for different groups of people.
For now.
Sure. Now, Android surpassed desktop, like regular Windows PC sales a couple years ago. There are more Android devices being sold. Android, I guess, is the most popular operating system in the world at this point. Because Android is the Apple of mobile operating systems, it can run on pretty much anything. It's very open source. Like, the goal is everyone who wants to use this can use it. iOS sales, though, have now caught up, and they are matching desktop sales. The newsworthy portion of this, Joel, is it shows that how much mobile is growing. I said this before the podcast.
Yeah, it shows how much mobile is growing, and it also shows how much iOS is growing, too. I mean, that is a lot.
It is a lot. Bill Gates said he was going to put a computer in everyone's house.
Yeah.
Smartphones are the realization of that.
Yeah.
Like, most people got desktop or laptop computers at some point. Like, most people in developed nations, people in third world countries now can get smartphones. Like, or phones with internet access of some kind. Like, mobile phones are the computers that everyone can get access to now, because you can do everything that you need to do with a computer for basic life maintenance stuff with a smartphone. You can pay your bills, you can take pictures, you can listen to music, you can track financial stuff. Like, you can do all that stuff with a phone. So if that's all you need, you don't necessarily need a computer anymore. So computer sales, they decline for a couple years, then they stagnate, then they go up a little bit, then they decline. Like, overall, computers aren't going away anytime soon. But yeah, iOS has grown by tons. Android's grown by tons. The smartphone market is massive.
I do think, obviously, I do think mobile is going to be, I think PC sales are going to start dwindling in the next couple of years into more of just like the professional sector of things. Maybe. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Because I think, like, your phones can just do so much now. The only thing that's hard for them to do is a lot of, like, file organization for stuff. Like my mom, she does.
That's not a problem on Android.
Well,
you silly iOS user, like, you can't manage your files, and James and Dave are like,
No, okay, I mean this. Okay, can you? Okay. How do you? Okay, how does this work? You
go into your folders.
No, okay, one second. You write a Word document. You write a Word document.
Yes.
You want to quickly get it onto your phone to keep on editing that Word document.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Toss it into Google Drive, and then you just open it up, like it's there instantly, or toss it into Dropbox.
Okay, and do you just open it up with like a Windows? Do you have like Word on there?
Or you can set your phone up with like Bluetooth. And then just drag and drop. I know you can do something similar.
AirDroid. AirDroid's the exact same way. I've got a widget on my desktop. I drag and drop a file into it, and it instantly pings up on my phone. It'll even open it up for me automatically. But yeah, there's tons of apps that'll open and edit Word documents.
You have the same functionality with iOS, though. With,
you can do all that stuff.
With like AirDrop, but just managing it and finding it. You have to open your app first. If you have all
Apple stuff, it's super easy. If you don't have all Apple stuff, it makes it harder. But like, Joel, all right, this is a quad-core phone with 3 gigabytes of RAM and a 1080p display. So spec-wise, I think we compared it at the beach. This is like 70% as fast as your MacBook Air. Not saying your Air sucks, just saying phones have come a long way. It can do multi-window stuff. Like, you can split screen, snap stuff to different sides, and run multiple programs at the same time. And like, it does all that stuff.
It's crazy.
Even so, I can't really work on the phone. I can catch up. I can moderate YouTube comments. I can catch up on emails. I can do stuff like that. But when it's time to work, like you said, the professional sector, computers are not going to go away anytime soon.
I cannot wait till you have a phone. You just set it down on a dock and it connects with a nice screen. I know they have stuff right now, but they're pretty crappy.
Android.
No, they have it, but it's really crappy right now. Like it's not very fast.
It's not.
Could you imagine a couple of years when it's really quick?
Desktop.
Holy crap! Like if you could video edit and be like, then I gotta go. Take your phone out, and that's your computer.
To be fair, the new MacBook, the new super thin MacBook, is basically iPad guts inside.
It's ridiculous.
So there isn't any reason why they couldn't do that. Like, the technology is there. The market maybe isn't. But it'd be cool to see Apple do that. Apple needs to innovate something sometime soon. Like, they need to get back into the swing of things. That'd be a cool thing to try. They've already kind of done it. They've basically taken the iPad guts and stuck them in a computer.
Okay, a couple of friends of mine now have just gotten the Apple Watch, and I've been curious. I've asked them, like, I don't know, like once a month or like every couple of weeks, like, do they still like it? What do you like about it? Like, what is a feature that is really neat? I think, honestly, phones right now are kind of getting as far as they can go, like for size wise. I mean, like, you can go bigger, you can go smaller, things like that. I'm really curious to see what is going to be the next actually big innovative thing that's just not other than just speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's gonna be awesome to get a 6K camera and a tiny phone. Yay, but like, I bet Apple's gonna do the whole touch sensitive thing, whatever, like that extra push click thing. I think that'll be kind of that'll be.
But that's not like major innovation.
It's not mind blowing. It's not mind blowing. But I do think the Apple Watch honestly is gonna be pretty incredible, especially for version 2. A friend of mine was saying, he's like, he's like, honestly, I wasn't a super fan of it, but we wanted to start developing some apps for it for a company, so he bought one, and he's like, already within a week, it's crazy how much I don't use my phone now. Like he's like, I was really surprised.
His phone. He just doesn't have to touch the phone.
But like, I don't have to look at my phone. He's like, honestly, I cannot wait for version 2 or 3, whatever it is, where you don't have to use your phone. You can just use the device. He's like, because it's pretty crazy. I'm like, I'm not having to drag my phone around all the time. Like, it's in the house. It's really cool. So,
all right. And we do need to move on for time, but I have an idea of what would actually be innovation, and all the tech already exists. All right, we have Pico projectors. There are even phones that have them. They can project like a 40-inch image on a wall. We have keyboards that can be projected onto a surface that you can type on and it's light. My phone is powerful enough to do actual work with. I want a phone that I can set on the table. It shoots a screen at the wall and a keyboard at my fingertips, and I instantly just created a laptop computer that I can do work on. That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I have a video of me saying this in my iPhone rant video back in 2006.
Oh, really?
This exact thing. I'm like, guys, I don't want a small screen. I want a projector. Shoot it on the wall, watch a movie, show my friends. And people are like, you're retarded. You're so stupid. Look, it's happening. It's gonna happen.
Joel's like, this validates all my stupid opinions. But what do you guys think? Like, that would be actual innovation. That would take, your phone could actually replace a laptop at that point. For a lot of people, like, you could have that one device that would actually do that. It providing like you're in areas that you can actually shine stuff on a wall. But like, that would be life-changing technology. Or my HoloLens, hook my Microsoft HoloLens up to my phone and put on that little like bracelets that let me type in midair or something. Do the exact same thing. I have a giant screen in front of my face. My phone's in my pocket, whirring away, burning through its battery in like 30 minutes, and I'm doing a little bit of work.
I mean, just imagine like a lightning bolt adapter or whatever, or HDMI adapter. You just plug it in, you set it on your desk. It's already Bluetooth connected to a mouse and keyboard, and it's powering a screen. Like, that would be insane. Like, just to like bring on a business.
I don't think we're that far. I don't think we're that far from that, honestly.
No, I think like maybe 2-3 years.
It just has to be made economically viable.
Yeah, I mean, there's those little Chrome computers now that you can buy. Yeah, I mean, they're essentially
like the little USB sticks that are.
Well, no, they have little not Chromecast. They're like little Chrome computers.
Okay, yeah.
They're like this big, and you can essentially
they're NUCs.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially the insides of a phone.
Quick last thing with the Apple Watch. Oh crap! Now you made me forget what it was. It was
It's overpriced. Battery dies quick. All right, moving on.
Oh, it's about the battery. Yeah, that's what it is. It's about the battery. Someone's like, I think the OS 2 that's coming out soon is allowing like you. I just learned a couple things. You can move music onto the Apple Watch because I was curious about getting it, but the thing I was thinking about is I want to go running, use the Nike Plus app and stuff. But if I still have to bring my phone to run that, I'm like, then I don't.
And I hate having to strap my phone to my arm or like I can't put it in my pocket.
Exactly.
That is inconvenient.
But
the watch would. Be
I don't have
cool.
to do that. You can use the running app without your phone. You can move music onto the Apple Watch, but you can't play the Apple Watch or music through the Apple Watch speakers yet. You can only do through Bluetooth headphones.
Okay.
But apparently OS 2 is going to allow that functionality. But I was thinking about something like I could see where they're trying to balance is that I think they can allow it to do a lot more, but as soon as they do know the battery's going to run down because you're going to be like, I can watch a video or I can watch, you know what I mean?
Like all smartwatches, their batteries already kind of suck. So like 6 to 8 hour battery life. That's not great for a watch. Like watches, you kind of think that's something you just wear. Like
Jeremy says it runs all day for like 12 hours. He says it's fine.
Good, but like
12 hours,
right? But I say like my
my bad. 24 hours. What am I thinking?
My watch batteries normally last like 5 years, though. I'm saying like. Again, it's not that useful if I put it in my desk drawer or my bag and then get it out the next day. Oh, it's completely dead. I can't use it for a couple hours. It should get a little better than that. Like for a phone, it's a little bit different. Watches should get better.
So I hope people support it because I do think the next version, I think if they get a couple of versions out, it's going to be pretty phenomenal, like what you can do with it.
And if anyone wants to try it for the cheap, Moto G watches, Android smartwatches are down to like $150 for some of them, and they do all the same stuff. If you have an Android phone, they're getting very, very affordable. It's not to the point where I want one just because it's still not doing anything that I feel like, oh man, this is so crazy. I can't live without this.
I want something that like makes me go, oh, I don't need to use my phone anymore because I just hate bringing my phone.
Well, they have watches that you can get service on.
Yeah, but not an Apple Watch.
Right, really? Not an Apple Watch.
It doesn't matter what's available unless it has that Apple logo on it. It is not relevant to Joel's life.
Samsung, you can actually get a service plan on your phone, on your watch.
Without your phone or anything?
Yeah.
Joel, again, I'm not trying to dig on Apple too much, but the real innovation, Android has been doing real innovation for years. It's on one particular phone brand. Like
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this one. I mean, I stay up to date on a lot of tech stuff, but I mean,
but there's too many Android phones. You can't stay up to date with all of them.
Yeah, there's a million Android stuff, so it's not like I'm behind.
I'm saying a lot of this cool stuff you want to do already is out there, but it's just not out there in a way that
generally not done as well. It's just done first sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. All right, James, what's your news item?
A news item, speaking of innovation, Microsoft is allowing or starting to bring the keyboard and mouse to the Xbox One.
Wow, that thing that basically runs a version of Windows 10? Cool. Took them so long. Now, it doesn't support a keyboard at all, like if you want to plug it in to type out messages or something, because the PlayStation 4 does. Yeah, it plug and played.
Yeah, it has some minor capability.
But you can't do games with it.
Correct.
You're going to do games with the keyboard and mouse?
The only thing that makes me curious is, like, we talked about crossplay with a PC, but you had to use a controller. I wonder if that's going to change the... Oh, wait.
Basically, if I can use a mouse and keyboard and I can stream my Xbox to my PC, that's basically just giving me the Xbox's library of games, but I can't run them with as nice of a graphics. Like, it's basically just going... Although that terrible interface, it might be better if I could hook up a touchpad.
But then you could finally beat us all in Halo because you're using a mouse and keyboard.
I probably still wouldn't. I'm not good at Halo, but I'd have a fighting chance at least.
I wonder if...
I hope they do that, though. Honestly, I hope they do that because, I mean, that'd be nice for people who don't like playing with controllers. You know,
it's funny, though.
They might honestly get a lot more people playing. You know what I mean? They might get people playing more of their games. They're thinking about getting an Xbox.
Microsoft is swinging for the fences. The Xbox now is basically $300, more or less, because they have so many deals. It's almost impossible to pay more than that now.
Yeah.
It's basically $300, and they're adding all these cool features to tie in with Windows PCs. Like, they're trying. You got to give them credit. Like, they screwed up the launch, but just like Sony did with the PS3, they're trying to recover as quickly as possible, and I applaud them for that.
One thing I was going to... Dreamcast had a keyboard and mouse, like, way before.
Dreamcast was way too far ahead of its time. Like,
it really was. I mean,
James, the cords came out the back of the controller. We just weren't ready for that. It wasn't time. The cords come out the front. Damn it. It's now mail time.
Mail time!
You can write into the show at casualshenanigans@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, www.casualshenanigans.com, and fill out that contact form and send in an email. Just like Halgear did, and he said, "Hey guys, there's been some discussion on the podcast lately about the subject of ported PC games, but I have no idea if a game is ported or not. All the hosts, even Joel, seem to know when a game is ported." I did not add the emphasis. He added the emphasis. Listening to you guys, it sounds like a lot of the ported games are poorly optimized for PC and therefore not worth the money. Is it so simple that if a game is not PC only but released on several platforms, it is ported to the PC for the PC version? Yes. Almost definitely. For most games, because most games that are multi-platform are bigger on the consoles because the PC platform is so huge that it's hard for any one game to get that much notice. That yes, the majority of major AAA releases are developed on PCs, built for consoles, and then ported back to the PC. Except, what are some good exceptions, Dave? Like Battlefield, would you say PC is still the primary platform?
Battlefield 4,
Battlefield 3, on Battlefield 3 it was.
The DICE said Battlefield 4 PC is our lead platform, and then after launch they're like, well, it was, and then 10 months before the game launched we branched in two different directions. So it's
generally, if you look at the history of the company and like which version of the game is the hands down best version, if that version is the PC, it's probably developed for the PC first. Like The Witcher 3 is a PC first game. Battlefield 3 was a PC first game. Any game that has fewer features on one platform or runs worse on one platform, it was probably not developed with that platform as the primary.
I mean, there's always Unreal Tournament. That's PC first.
That's so relevant. 10 years ago.
And now I'm keeping track. I have a Google Doc now keeping track of game launches now on console and PC, how they rank up together, which one works, which one don't work, so that 8 months from now we can look back and go, like, what is it stacking up? Are like on both systems is it even? Is the PC getting the bad end of the stick when it comes to like ports? We can take a look and see.
I'd say when there are bad ports, the PC gets them more of the time, but that's just because more games are developed console first, more AAA games.
Yeah, well,
so I think it's just a numbers thing. I don't think it's because the PC is that much harder to develop for. I just think any platform that is the smaller platform for this particular game is going to get less time and resources put into it, and therefore is going to have a slightly worse experience. Like it's just the reality of how things work.
The thing is, though, with all the consoles moving over to like actually more similar architecture,
x86
to the PC, like you would think that would be only to the PC's favor, but it hasn't. I don't think it's really proven yet to be a benefit.
It hasn't yet, but DirectX 12 supposedly is going to be some big unifier. I am skeptical.
I'm skeptical but hopeful.
I'm very skeptical because like Mantle was supposed to be amazing. A lot of things are supposed to have been game changing, and very few things actually are. That's not to say I'm not excited, but like I'm not counting my chickens. But anyway, on to another mail item really quick. This is a quick PC build question, which if you want to hear more of these, you should listen to Casual Shenanigans Tech, a bi-weekly-ish podcast that Dave and I do where we answer all your hardware questions.
You guys have a new one coming out?
Well, a new one went out to our Patreon supporters yesterday, and then episode 2 will be going out to everyone else next Wednesday. So Joe writes in, he says, so I've been trying to make my first gaming PC. I have a budget of $475, and I'm wondering if this PC I'm building has good specs. Here are his suggested specs. EVGA 500 watt power supply, a GeForce GTX 80, GTX 80 isn't a thing, a GTX 750 graphics card, a Pentium G3258, what a surprise, an Asus Micro ATX 1150 motherboard, and then 8 gigs of Crucial Ballistics RAM. I'm going to be playing Battlefield Hardline, Minecraft, modified heavily with shaders, Gary's Mod, Grand Theft Auto 5, etc. I have a friend who knows lots about PCs, and he says this build's good. I just want to ask you guys if this is good and if I should change some of this. Also, the total price is $473, but sometimes it drops and increases maximum to $474. I'm assuming he means on PC Part Picker prices change. I would like to know if it's good. Sorry for this long message. I like your podcast, guys, and good job. Thank you, Joe. Dave, so the most important parts for gaming are 8 gigs of RAM, GTX 750, G3258. What do you think?
I need that in a list. I don't have the email up. I'm looking right now. You go.
I'm going to chime in really fast. I mean,
Okay.
for that price and what specs he listed, I would almost rather just say get one of the little Alienware boxes at this point.
Processor-wise,
I mean,
they'd
it's
be-
750s. I mean, they're i3s. If he overclocks, yeah, but
Yeah,
750 is not going to be that great.
it's not. I would probably recommend getting like a used 7950. Oh, no. Get an R9 270, unless you need to stick with NVIDIA. Get an AMD R9 270. That'll be at a much better card for like $10 more. I'll say the same thing I'm concerned about with the processor that everyone, like, it's the darling of cheap PC builds right now, and it's an amazing dual-core processor that overclocks like a beast, but the clock speed is becoming less relevant because 2 cores is not enough for some modern games. They just need to split the load up on more cores than that. Dual cores have been out for like 12 years. Like at some point, they're just not going to work that well anymore. For productivity stuff, they're totally fine. But for gaming, some games just need more than 2 cores, and the G3258 is not going to do well for you a couple years from now. Now, all the games you mentioned so far, they will run fine on it. But stuff a couple years down the road is not going to. So I would recommend, if you like, the problem is you want to step up to an Intel dual core with hyper-threading, you got to get an i3, you got to step up to at least $100. You could get a cheap AMD quad core for like $70 and you wouldn't have to spend any more on your motherboard. And that would be about as good as the G3258. Wouldn't be an amazing gaming processor, but it would be better. For a budget build, you should probably go AMD. So I would recommend getting an FX 4300 or step up to an FX 6300 and then get an R9 270. Those are probably your best bet.
I mean, I guess we can't ask an email, but it's like just the thought to be able to upgrade parts later.
He doesn't say, and we'll.
I mean, I guess that would be kind of the big thing if he wants to upgrade later. I mean, he's going with the micro ITX, so I mean, he's going to be very limited anyway with what he can. Didn't he say a micro ITX?
Yeah, micro ATX.
ATX. So I mean, he's going to be pretty limited.
Yeah,
we can do anyway. And does that price include like the hard drive and the case?
He doesn't. I'm assuming so because he doesn't list all those things out, and all that stuff would not add up to $475. So I'm guessing that's the case. All right. It is now time for. Oops! I just full screen something. It's time for what are you playing this week, Joel? Why don't you start us off?
Well, I've been playing some Trials. James is in town for the whole CSG Con 2015, and James decided he was going to try to beat one of my records in Trials. He's been playing it a lot on his PS4, and he's beaten most of my Trials records because I haven't really gone back and tried to beat him again. I just got gold, so he beat some of them, and then I decided, all right, I'll beat his. Then he beat it again. Then I beat it again. Well, it got really, really tough, and I got a pretty good time. And then James literally spent 3.5 hours straight trying to beat my score, sitting on my couch. I was just sitting there. Joy and I were like falling asleep to the sounds of like the restart sound in Trials. Beep, yeah. Beep, beep. And then finally James was like, all right, he was kind of like done. And he handed the controller and I was like, wait, what's this? He like quickly grabs it back and I realized he had been playing so long and he'd been so frustrated and like his thumb literally shredded the left trigger to pieces. It was just like completely like he chewed it. He was hungry. That was a good time. But then he eventually beat the time.
When I got home,
I
beat your score.
Yeah. So I've yet to beat it because it was really fast. Then I downloaded Journey since it was free. It was like they gave me the free PS4 version. I was like, oh, I'll just check out just to see how the graphics looked. And played for 2.5 hours and beat the game. And it was just as good as it was the first time. It was so good. And then, surprise game out of nowhere.
Rocket League.
Holy crap.
Me, Dave, Joel, and Mark, and John have been playing that. And holy crap, is that game fun.
I'm ready for more. I'm really ready for more.
I love that meme that you shared the other day, like showing Batman. Like, I saved up for this. All I've been playing is Rocket League.
If you haven't tried Rocket League, if you have a PS4 and you have PlayStation Plus, get it because it's free right now.
Really good. Like most of the PlayStation Plus games, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like it's nice that that's free. Rocket League, I'm like, this is the type of stuff that should be available.
It's got this intensity and just it's great. It's a lot of fun.
And I've been obviously playing Trials because I've been beating Joel's score. It was funny. The one track, that was the one that we tried really hard at. But then Joel apparently beat another one of my tracks. And so I beat his score. And I go back to, trying to beat his other score. And then I get a message, Joel has beat your score. And then Joel's like texting me bragging. Like, all right, I beat his score. I mean, that literally went back and forth, I think 4 times. Of us just like
It's gonna be the end of us.
And it's not like he, I beat him by 3 seconds or he beat me by 3 seconds. It's like milliseconds. We're like, like I could just barely get across the finish line a little bit faster, and it takes like an hour to do.
Awesome.
And I've been on an indie game kick lately too.
Oh, cool. What else have you been playing?
I bought a bunch of stuff on Green Man Gaming from their sale. I don't have them up right now, but a lot of like 2D platformers.
Cool. Dave, what have you been playing besides Rocket League?
I'm in a weird place this week because my computer's been rendering like at night during my time. So outside of like little bits of The Witcher, City Skylines, and a really fun Arma 3 anti-ISIS mission from last night that was just ridiculous.
That was pretty awesome.
ISIS got wrecked. But because of all the rendering that my PC's been doing, I've been playing a lot of PS4 this week. Probably the most PS4 I've played since I got it back in like March. I played a lot of Rocket League. What else have I been playing? Little bits of just like some of the indie stuff. Like I've played some Drive Club, some of the free PSN games, and then I've played probably like 6 hours of Last of Us this week, which is still always excellent.
Please let me know when you play it. I know last week's been kind of crazy, but let me know when you play.
Yeah.
All right. It is now time for 90 Seconds with Joel, part of the podcast where Joel talks about whatever he wants for longer than 90 seconds, literally every single time. Joel, what do you got for us this week?
Okay, I'll try to keep this quick, but this is something that my wife actually brought up, and I was just laughing so hard. So I just wanted to share it. But first, before a disclaimer, I am not talking about you guys or that you guys do this to me at all.
Because you're being 100% honest because I saw what you have written down here. Because if this was an actual issue, and people will see when you say
no, this is not. This is not at all issue. No, this is not at all issue because I know the difference between you guys joke. We've played
it's
games
his
enough.
Other group of friends that he always hangs out with.
So I got
other
a friend.
Podcast.
He got a friend. He had to ask me because he wanted to say this because I didn't. He was really nervous about it. His friends are kind of crazy. So I was no. Okay. So we were laughing. What is with the issue of beer peer pressure, right? Now, okay, so there's obviously people that don't love beer as much as other people. So I'm definitely one of them, right? Now, I do like hard ciders, and I like
an acquired taste.
the kinky grapefruit juice ones, okay? I actually have
literally kinky.
Yeah, that's the brand name. Okay. Thank you, Steven, for bringing Joel some kinky drinks.
But Joy, we were talking, she's like, wait a second, why is it for beer, not for other drinks? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing it for other drinks. Like, Dave, you're drinking like a glass of chocolate. I'm like, what a pansy, dude. Drink 3 more glasses. What? You're not having it super dark chocolate? Like, what is with that? And I just don't understand that mentality. Because, I mean, we all joke around. I know you guys are kidding. You guys would never pressure anyone to do that.
No, absolutely not.
But I think you guys can agree that it is kind of a thing. And it's like,
it's definitely a thing.
It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, any kind of like extreme sport or something, or like a dare, or like it's just like, dude, walk on the plank, man. It's like, I'm scared, I don't want to do it. It's like, dude, man, you got to do it. Don't be a pansy. But I'm like, it's a drink. It's not even something like, I just don't understand it. And like, I'm like, if you're gonna do it for beer, why not do it for water? Like, dude, one water bottle.
I understand it.
Yeah, it's just funny.
I see this at so many weddings I go to, like other places too, growing up. But like weddings are a great thing because most people are on some sort of vacation when they're at their wedding, and a lot of them are drinking, especially the groomsmen. But it's people want to do something that's at least slightly socially irresponsible, but it's seen as more acceptable if everyone's doing it together. Like if you were going to say, hey guys, I know we were going to go out and do stuff today. I'm just going to hang back at my place, like sit around in my boxers and play video games and goof off. That would be like, okay, come on, dude, don't be a lazy bum. But if everyone wants to come back and sit around in our boxers and play video games and goof off, then it's cool and we're just hanging out. It's fun, Like that's okay. Like we're all goofing off together. So if one guy at a party wants to have a couple drinks and get loosened up because he feels like he is not as personable or not entertaining or anything when he's not drinking, and some people are like that, and it's sad, but some people are like that. So if he feels like, well, I got to have some couple drinks to loosen up, he doesn't want to be seen as like that guy. So if everyone's drinking and having fun together, then it's more socially acceptable. Like everyone's doing it. It's exact.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the
Well, see, I get
stereotypical.
that, but
if everyone
but-
was doing it, would you do it?
Like
Yes,
I
that's
understand what's
exactly
going
what
on,
is.
but it also just pisses me off because it's like, hey, I want to be stupid and irresponsible, and I want you to take care of what I'm doing. And like if you don't want to drink, then you're the one that's just like chilling there, going, well, okay, I got to take care of everyone because everyone can't do freaking anything because they're wandering around like zombies.
Those are the worst parties, is where people really are just there to drink. Like there's.
But all I'm gonna say is now I'm gonna be fair.
Yeah.
If anyone's gonna pressure me, whether not talking about our friends or anything like that, or people that came to visit, I'm just saying in general, if you're one of those bitches that do that, I'm gonna be like, dude, drink another Gatorade. What a pansy! You ain't drinking Gatorade, bitch! I'm just gonna be like, dude, come on, man, dude, come on, dude, it's so cool. I'm like, no, just shut up before I flay the skin off your eyes. Like, it's just
Whoa. But no, it's the same exact. It's just peer pressure. It's the same reason that collectively, have you ever heard the term collectively? None of us are as dumb as all of us. Like together,
I love that.
there's no limiting humanity's stupidity when they get together to do stuff, and their
I
creativity.
feel that all the time when I'm around other people.
All right, neckbeard. You're like, when I'm around the stupids, I feel that way.
I can't stand to be around all the
I
sheeple.
think it's a very interesting phenomenon because it's just weird. It's just like
Clean.
because it just doesn't happen to sodas or other things like that, or whatever. Like you could even think for someone who's doing a diet, right?
That totally happened to me.
If one of our friends say, "Oh, dude, I'm not eating sugar this week," of course we're gonna rag on you, be like, "Come on, eat sugar," but we're not gonna do the point where we actually mean do it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like we'd be a bunch of dicks.
I know we're running a little over on time, and this may be getting too personal, but I can actually speak to that very well. So I love eating. I'm not like an amazing chef or anything and I don't have a great palate for trying. I'm not a foodie in the sense that I want to try amazing new foods. I just really enjoy lots of different food. I like food. I eat very healthy almost all the time, but I eat a lot of food. I'm overweight. And at times in my life, I've been I've been in awesome shape. And then in times in my life, I've been in less good shape and been more overweight. And I'm a little more overweight right now, unfortunately. But when I'm eating really well, like right now I'm eating very low sugar, no processed or refined sugars. I'm eating really great. The constant pressures there of people saying something along the lines of, well, just have one thing, just take a little bit of a break and it's fine.
Yeah.
Take the weekend off, whatever. And I do that every once in a while, like I did this past weekend, because I didn't want to be a burden on people with my dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
But the problem is, if that's not something you struggle with, you can't tell somebody, just do a little bit, but don't go nuts.
Yeah.
Because I know if I get the taste of sugar in my mouth, if I have one cookie, I have horrible self-control. I fight that by not buying junk food. I win the battle in the grocery store, so I don't have to fight it the entire time I'm at home. If I have some of it, I will want to have the rest of it. I don't have an addictive personality with alcohol or most anything else. For me, it's food. If I eat something that's really savory, really sugary, something delicious, I will want more
tacos.
The taste is in my mouth. So that's the same reason alcoholics can't just have one drink, because they won't just have one drink, and they know that about themselves. If I have one, I will want to have the rest of them. Same way and if people have an addictive personality with things, it's for different things that they have it. So everyone's not the same. So the same thing with beer, it's so stupid when they're saying, well, just have just do it. Don't push that on people. You don't know where people are at and what their situation is. Especially with something that can be damaging. It's one thing to just have another Gatorade. It's not great for you, but whatever. But with alcohol, that's such a dangerous thing. That's like saying, just drive faster, man. Just drive faster. You're only going 70. Why not do 85, you pussy?
And there are people that do that. It's just, I don't know. It kind of blows my mind. Wait, why am I supposed to do what you're doing? Why? Are you the president of what's cool? And what I have to do what's cool? I don't know. It just, to me, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually creative. I'm going to go make a movie or something. You can just sit here in a bar by yourself and drink till you're dead or something. No, I would rather go do something. I don't know. It just annoys me that that's a thing. And I feel sad for the people that do get pressured on that. It's very hard to pressure me into doing anything if I don't want to do it. Like if I don't want to do it, like you're not gonna have a chance.
Well,
But,
and you know why that is,
so.
Joel. And this is one of your. This is going to sound like an insult. It's not, and you know this because you say this about yourself. One of my favorite things about you is you literally could not possibly care less what other people think about you most of the time. Now, I'm sure people can hurt your feelings and everything. Like you're not a robot. You're a very caring, kind person, and you're very attentive to people's feelings. Like you're not a sociopath or anything, but you don't care if other people don't like you. Like that doesn't affect you, and that's why you're so good about stuff like that. Is you don't bow to social pressure with a lot of stuff because it doesn't bother you. Like it doesn't bother you if people think you're a square or a loser or don't want to play the fun game or whatever, and you're okay not doing that. That's good. That's an awesome thing.
Thanks. Yeah,
I think it's probably why you get picked on though. Like people pick on you knowing that you're not going to do it anyway. But it's the thing when people like pick on you about like Joel drinking Joel beer.
Yeah.
I drink the same exact thing as you. I never drink anything more than you do. I mean, I'm probably not as much of a wuss, but I'm like, I'm getting warm. But
yeah, to be fair, Joel, you ask for some of the teasing, like. When you order a drink at Disney World with a floaty little like pulsing light in it, and then you wake up the next morning and you've lost your pants after one drink. Like we get to make fun of you because we're your friends, and like we're not gonna not make fun of that.
Yeah, no. Of course.
He lost his pants while wearing them. Like he went to sleep wearing them and then lost them.
I had a belt on too.
But all that to say, as you know, as a group, like anytime we've had like we had the moonshine cast and stuff like that. It's not like all of us were, or even any of us were just like wasted and like throwing up the next day. It was all very responsible, children, and we really expect you to be responsible too.
Because we have a good group of friends. We would never let anyone drive if they even felt the effects of alcohol. We would never encourage anyone to actually keep drinking if there was a problem. Like, not at all. I like our group of friends because we like having a good time, but we want to have a good time. Like we want to remember it and everyone be okay.
Responsible adults.
Yeah, like and most people are like that, but the bad ones are bad.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into a long thing, but it just made me laugh because I was like, and that's if that gives you guys a little bit of insight of how I think. Like I see these things and I don't understand it. Like it's so like out there for me why like someone would do that it's like it feels so alien to me. And so it makes me laugh thinking like, wait, yeah, why don't we do that about like drinks or sodas? Like, it's like, Dave, you only had one Mountain Dew. Come on, man. 20 ounces.
Yeah. I don't know. We kind of rag on Jeremiah about eating guacamole.
You do.
Well, that's true.
I was going to say though, Joel, this is a lot of talk for someone that peer pressured me against my will into drinking a bacon soda. You dick.
That was for pure entertainment purposes.
It's okay if it's for entertainment. Go crazy.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny though when we were talking to Shane Ultra Grunt from the UK, talking about how they don't really have like the drinking ages like they do here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you can drink at 5 years old. 5 or 7.
Technically, it's like drinking wine with your family or whatever. But like, he said it's not as big of an issue for like kids going out and like getting just like plastered and like getting in accidents and stuff. Maybe because of because here with our restrictions, like people are more inclined to say,
we're a very puritanical society, and that doesn't help us out a lot of the time.
I mean, anytime we put a restriction on anything, people are actually more inclined to do it here. I guess that's just an American thing.
And we don't want to get, well, that's kind of always been our attitude. Oh, you want us to be your colonies? Oh yeah, we'll see about that. Like, yeah, we don't want to get too political. I feel like we could have a very good private offline discussion about this, and we probably
or a conversation.
We should do that, James. Yeah. But yeah, it's in America. We're definitely a go hard or go home type of group. So. All right, but
Joel, do you want to tease our conversation coming up?
As we wrap the podcast down, the music's already playing, so tease fast.
Teasing.
What?
Okay, never mind. James and I, we recorded something. We've been thinking of some ideas, and we wanted to do a podcast where it's just James and I talking about random crap, and we're always talking about our fantasies pretty much of apocalypse and
Oh, okay.
random. Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe some other fantasies in there too. But the episode we're going to try to release is talking about what we would do if we got stuck in a mall.
Cool.
So,
Wait, Joel, I mean, Jeremiah and Dave have their tech podcast, and they put a lot of, thought and, intelligence into it. This is kind of the antithesis of that. There's no thought. There's no intelligence. It's just stupid.
Well, I look forward to listening to it. And there's also some special casual conversations that James has been heading up. Those will be coming out soon. But for now, Dave, what should everybody do?
Definitely stay casual.
And subscribe.
Right, but what about all the other stuff?
Well, they should stay casual while liking and subscribing everything.
they'll hear more of the bear story.
If you don't know what that is, you're one of the lucky ones. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
You guys can connect through the @casualshenanigans Twitter account. There's no N on the end. You can write in at casualshenanigans@gmail.com. You can tweet to @germgaming or @evilviking, no 13 on the end. I think that about covers all the bases. And you can visit the new website, which is kind of our central hub now, casualshenanigans.com.
And come out this Saturday, July 25th. Play Grand Theft Auto 5 with us. The Teamspeak information and the Seal Slapper Rockstar Social Club information is in the description of this video. I'll try to have the video up before Saturday so more people can see it. And with that, James, you got the big sexy voice and the big sexy mic. What should everybody do?
Stay casual.